Welcome inside the Washington Commanders tunnel, right outside where the players run in. And the Commanders got a win, first win under their new name against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 28-22 win. And it was kind of up and down in this one.
Whew, this was a roller coaster of a game. And we should say, normally we're outside, we're on the field after the game. Yeah, well, we heard it was pouring out there, so that's why we're going to show you the brand new painted tunnel in here. This is all new this year for the Commanders. Of course, everything is new. The name is new. And the way
they had a DJ right here.
Yeah, they had music going on. Just to pump up the players, get them ready to go. And they were pumped up out there. They started off well, right? They started off strong. Everyone was feeling it. The crowd was feeling it. A good crowd, more than 50,000, they tell us, were in the stands here at FedEx Field today. And then there was a little bit of a downhill moment.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all those downhill moments. We always wanted this Commanders team to come out strong out the gate, and like you said, they did. And then we had the ups and downs. We'll talk about that all throughout the show. We have some good interviews we have with some of the people in the locker room. You hear that first from us. You hear from Johan Dotson, the rookie out of Penn State, and his impact in today's game. And Curtis Samuel, we haven't really seen him play.
Yeah.
We'll hear from him. And, of course, we're not going to forget, this was the first game for quarterback Carson Wentz as a Washington Commander, so we're going to hear from him in his play. But you, the fans, just like every single game we do during the NFL season, we want to hear from you on how do you feel about this Commanders team? Are you excited about this Commanders team? Do you have some concerns because, they got a win, but it wasn't against maybe the best team ever? But let's go start off with that up and down that they were going through. So we were talking about the Commanders. They came out of the gate. They I believe they scored on their opening drive.
That's right.
Which is pretty rare.
They scored on that opening drive. They looked really good. The defense early on was holding Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, and they weren't doing much early on. And then
at least out of the end zone. They're getting the field goals.
That's true.
But at least they kept them out of the end zone.
That's true, and that's huge. That's huge for them to do that. So things were looking promising at halftime. We're smiling in the press box. The fans are all excited. We see a lot of high fives, a lot of chants going on. They were even singing the new fight song as well. But then Carson Wentz had some weak moments. 2 interceptions.
Yeah, 2 interceptions. It was almost like, at one point I tweeted, I was like, hey, can the first half Commanders
can we bring that back?
Can they come back out for the second half? Because they were still in the locker room. And people did get concerned because, listen, throughout the summer during training camp, a lot of people were like, Carson Wentz is inconsistent. He's throwing the ball over his receivers. And the first half, we were like, oh, maybe we saw something different. Then we saw what we were concerned about in the second half.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw a lot of overthrown passes, some not well-thrown passes. So then at one point, those 2 interceptions had them down by 10. They gave them 10 points to the Jags right off the bat. So, again, to go with the old cliche, it's not how you start, it's how you finish and how you persevere. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, they rebounded after the Jags scored 19 unanswered points. And Ron Rivera spoke about that his team, they found a way to bounce back despite the Jags making that late comeback in the game. And here's what Ron had to say after the game.
The show's got a little bit of energy going, got the crowd behind us, which was awesome. Really appreciate the fans coming out and getting behind us and just, pushing us. And when you get in those kind of situations, you get that kind of electricity. It's not, oh, no, here we go again. It's, okay, who's going to make the play?
A lot of ups and downs, but we came out here and got the win. And it wasn't always pretty, but I think just to have a game like that, to come out resilient like we did, a lot of guys made a lot of plays, and we got stops when we needed to. So I think that's what the most thing is important.
Now, check this out. Carson Wentz, the quarterback, of course, for the Commanders, he was the 34th different starting quarterback for the Washington franchise since 1993. That, of course, hands down, it is a lot. The most during that span. And we were talking earlier about Carson Wentz and what we saw over the summertime, a little bit of inconsistencies. Then we saw him in the first half, and he looked good.
Yeah. He had a few passes that were overthrown, a few that they weren't there. But he had that first great touchdown to Johan Dotson. Then we saw him connecting, obviously, with Curtis Samuel a lot. We'll get to him in a little bit. And he was connecting with Terry McLaurin. He was connecting with all the big 3 guys that we expected to see him connecting with. And that's something that we were watching during camp. Would they finally find their rhythm? And it looked like they were finding it in the first half of this game.
Yeah, the great thing about Carson Wentz is that he threw 4 touchdown passes in this game. The last time Carson Wentz threw 4 touchdown passes in a game, you have to go all the way back to 2017 when they took on the LA Rams. That was the game he actually tore his ACL. Yeah. It was also the same year that Philadelphia Eagles team went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So one thing I spoke about with Carson Wentz was like, hey, Carson. Actually, no, not Carson Wentz. I spoke with head coach Ron Rivera when after the Carson Wentz presser. I was like, hey, if we can get this this Carson Wentz that the Philadelphia Eagles had, we'll be in good shape.
Right.
And the fact that he performed sort of like he did when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Commanders may be in some good shape.
And he's got to be impressing Commanders fans. Another fun fact. So he's the first Commanders quarterback, Washington quarterback, since 1975 to have 4 touchdowns in week 1.
It's been that long?
It's been that long.
God, dog. We just showed you like 80 quarterbacks. You're trying to say none of those guys did.
First one since 1975. So he's doing something right. And you know what? He did something right. He got the W. And he said, it's not pretty, but getting a win in the NFL, it's pretty hard. Here's what he had to say.
Felt great, obviously, like I said, coming off of a rough stretch. Started fast, rough stretch there in the middle, but to kind of rally together and get it done when it mattered at the end, that was cool. Cool way to start. I mean, it is hard to win in this league, and so it doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter any of those things in the last couple minutes of the game. If you find a way to get it done, that's what good teams do, and I'm glad we did that today.
Yeah, they certainly did do that today. And he said, it doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't. A W is a W. And it's not easy to get in this league. Now, yes, they were playing the Jags. The Jags finished in last place in the National Football League last year. But, hey, this is a new season. Everyone's got new players. One of those new players is rookie Johan Dotson for the Washington Commanders. And, wow, did he show up in his NFL debut.
So can I vent, like, real quick?
Okay.
So I drafted Johan Dotson on my fantasy team. And you know where Johan Dotson is on my fantasy team this week?
He better not be on that bench. He's on the bench. Yeah. That's the last time he's going to be on the bench because he is a player. He's a playmaker.
Can I read it? Can I read like what he did just to make my fantasy team look even worse? So Johan Dotson, you guys, he is the first rookie in Washington franchise history to record 2+ receiving touchdowns in a Week 1 contest. So listen. The Washington franchise, they're celebrating 90 years, even though this is the first year for the Commanders, but 90 years. And you're trying to tell me that Johan Dotson just literally made history that we haven't seen in the last 90 years.
It's pretty impressive. And he's so calm, cool, collected about everything. He told me earlier this week that he would have jitters because he said, I'm human. Everyone has jitters. And he was also, though, excited. He said he can't wait. It's going to hit him, he said, when he was driving in, because it's different from college. In college, you're all on the bus together when you're coming to a game. And
there's
he
no
said,
bus
there's no bus. So he's
car.
going to be driving by himself. And Montez Sweat gave him some advice. He said, pick a good playlist, drive in, let it all sink in. So I'd like to know, we got to ask him this week. What's on that playlist, right, when he was driving in? Because it certainly worked.
Taylor Swift.
Who knows?
Backstreet Boys.
Something pumped him up. 2 touchdowns pumped him up.
Little George Clinton, maybe. Something like that, right?
Sure. We'll have to ask him.
Anyways, I mean, we knew that Johan Dotson was a talented receiver. I mean, this is why they drafted him in the first round in general. It was just good to see what he can do.
Yeah.
And you had interviews with him. We both actually had interviews with Johan Dotson, and you had a question a follow-up question that you wanted to present to Johan Dotson after his first NFL game. And this is Sharla asking Johan Dotson during his presser.
A few days ago, you told me that it still didn't feel real that you were about to play in the NFL. So when did it feel real today? Because I have a feeling now it's hit you.
Yeah, it definitely hit me a little bit. Seeing all my family. I tried to run off on you guys. Seeing all my family in the parking lot. I knew ever since I was a little kid that I wanted to do this and I wanted to excel at the highest level. And I kind of devoted all my time throughout high school, throughout college, making sure that I was ready for this moment. You guys kind of saw it today. I made a couple plays. That's not all I can do, I'm ready to make even more plays for this team and just get us on the win streak.
Yeah, so you heard him mention the parking lot there. So here's a little background to that. In the media, we were waiting for a while in the interview room where you just saw him talking. We were waiting longer than we normally should. And then when they finally brought him in, they said, sorry, we found him in the parking lot. He's a rookie. He's not used to leaving the locker room and coming straight to talk to us. So we forgive him. But we also forgive him because he told me earlier this week that he had a, quote, party bus that was coming down.
Oh, the fam came deep, huh?
Oh, yeah, 50 family and friends coming to see him, and what a show they got today.
So I think NFL players, maybe they get maybe 4 or 7 tickets, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So that means he probably had to pay for all those other tickets.
A lot.
But it's good that his family ran deep. I mean, he's a guy who's from that Pennsylvania area. He has some Philly fans in his family. I think there were some Cowboy fans, I believe they're saying, but he was like, I'm going to try to convert them to be Commanders fans.
I bet he did today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you score 2 touchdowns in front of the fam, I mean, you have to
awesome.
now, you got to get a Dotson jersey, and you got to show up another game and cheer on your
Oh,
team.
and speaking of those Dotson jerseys, so they have a brand new team store here at FedEx Field. I got to check it out today. And right next to Young and McLaurin, Dotson. His jersey is already up in that store, and it's hanging next to some pretty big names.
So another big name, but should I say a big name that the Commanders brought in last year that we really didn't get a chance to see was receiver Curtis Samuel.
Right.
He was dealing with that groin injury. We barely saw him play last season.
Just like come and go.
We're paying him a lot of money to perform, and it was kind of like drama the entire season. Like, what is wrong with his groin? Why is he not playing? Why is it taking him so long?
And then he would come back and then get injured again.
Correct.
Yeah.
And boy, like, did you listen, you guys? Before we actually explain this, how do you feel about the rookies that you just saw, like Johan Dotson, also Curtis Samuel coming back? But do you remember that moment where Curtis Samuel caught the ball, made this move, and the press room just went, ooh, ooh, ooh.
We found our shoulders going like this, just like he did.
Oh, what was it? Do it?
You know,
Yeah,
like
we're all
that.
like,
That's what he was doing.
see,
Shaking and baking out there.
So media rules, we're supposed to be like quiet, and
Right.
we're not supposed to be
No
biased,
emotion.
cheering on anybody. But when he made that play, you couldn't
Yeah.
help yourself.
All of us
natural
were like,
reaction to be
oh.
like, ooh. Let's do it at the same time. Oh, there goes the move.
Yep.
Ooh. But yeah, it was good to see him
Yeah.
back to really show what he can do.
He was great. He was great. He came right out. I think he had 50 yards right out of the gate. It was bang, bang, bang. It seemed like Carson Wentz was just finding Curtis Samuel, and it's because he saw what he was able to do. And he talked in the locker room about that. You could tell he was all smiles. He was pumped to get that game under his belt.
You were talking about you're seeing things you never saw before out of yourself. How would you describe your play?
It's been so long since I've been able to make dudes drop like that. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while, but I won't say I impressed myself, but I did what I knew I could do, and I just, like I said, I was going to go out there and make plays whenever I touched the ball.
Now, here's a fun fact. We're talking about the Commanders coming out of the gate, of course, with their weapons on offense, but Washington scored touchdowns on their first 2 drives today, and it's the first time they've scored a touchdown on back-to-back drives to open a season since 1991. You got to go way back. They did it against Detroit, the same team they're actually playing next. And since we just had a fun fact, let's do a quick trivia question.
Oh, okay.
For all the people at home who don't know. Who is the first person, or who's the first player to score a touchdown in a Washington Commanders jersey?
The first touchdown with Johan today? No, Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel.
Oh my gosh,
there you go. Just
wait.
make sure you write that down. So like
Curtis
50
Samuel.
years from now, when you're like,
Yeah.
who scored the first touchdown
Yeah,
for the
in
Commanders?
a Washington Commanders jersey, Curtis Samuel,
It
number
was
10.
Curtis Samuel. I mean, he was getting down, dancing in the end zone. Almost looked like the car commercial, the Eastern Motors car commercial. I just
Yeah.
gave a plug there. I hope
Yeah.
I get like a discount on the car. But yeah, it was
that
good
was
to see
great.
those offensive weapons. Now let's go to
Defense.
Was that part of the down? It was a little down and up.
Yeah.
They were concerning at first.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we were concerned at first. I was like, they need to make sure they stop the opposing offense right away. That was one of my keys to the game. They kept them out of the end zone, like we mentioned.
That was huge. That was huge.
You know, that was good. They still kicked a field goal. They were decent on third down.
Right.
That was like
There was
that was a concern.
penalties, though. We got the
Tell
penalties.
them. I was trying to be nice. Go ahead, tell them.
The
That's her.
penalties were a little frustrating. I mean,
Were they just frustrating?
We could hear the fans just outside the press box, and I can't repeat what they were saying with all those penalties
Yes,
because
you can. Go ahead.
No.
Or David Satchel, a photographer.
We'll have to
he's
bleep
working
that out.
the bleep button.
But you could see the guys getting frustrated with each other. We know Montez Sweat is a vocal guy. He's kind of the rah guy. He's not afraid to be outspoken with these guys. So he's there up front, and then he sees the penalties being made. Kendall Fuller made a few, I think 2 in a row there. They were getting
You're
frustrated.
giving them all the bad. It's okay.
They were getting
It
frustrated.
is
But
what it
then,
is.
you know what? This is in part of that slump. That was in part of that slump that happened right middle of the game. A lot of frustrations happening. But you know what happened? They came alive at the end. They stopped them when they needed to. Yeah, they did. Derek Forrest.
Defoe.
Defoe.
Defoe getting it down. So a lot of people were concerned, and I was just like, you know what? This Commanders team cannot lose to this Jaguars team because this Jag
gotta
team
win this one.
was like the worst team in the NFL
3
last
and
year.
14.
Let me put
They were
it
3
here.
and 14.
I don't know if we're in boxes or if you can see me, but if our director can actually at least show us. I don't know if we're
Okay.
being seen right now, but listen to this. This Jacksonville Jaguars team has not won a road game now in 17 consecutive games. They have not beaten
that's tough.
an NFC team in 18 consecutive games. In layman terms,
It's
they
not good.
stink. Or they're
Especially
not
on the
good.
road. Especially on the road.
So to see a team that hasn't won a road game in so long, now all of a sudden on the brink of possibly, I mean, they had the lead in the
Right.
fourth
The
quarter
Jags
against
had the lead in the
against the
fourth, yeah.
Commanders. So you're getting concerned about this. Like, we don't want to be that team to snap
Right.
that streak. Because any negativity around here, it just
I know,
blows up. But
They needed to start the Commanders era on a positive note, and
Absolutely.
that starts with a win. And sure enough, just when they needed it,
Defoe,
he was filling in today.
Defoe.
And that's what all the players were yelling in the locker room afterwards. It was fabulous. And you know what? You're going to hear that. Here, take a
Defoe.
listen. Take a listen to this.
These my dogs. These my brothers, man. These my brothers. I feed off their energy. They feed off my energy, man. So we're gonna keep this energy going. We're gonna keep this energy going. At the end of the game, my energy was going. My adrenaline was rushing, and I was trying to play too fast. So I had to slow myself down. I had a little bit of butterflies in my stomach, but it really wasn't nothing. After I started playing, making plays, it was just my energy.
You got to love it. So all of the guys were surrounding his locker, and they were just hooting and hollering, as my grandma would say. And they loved it. They loved that he was getting the attention. Well-deserved. I mean, that interception at the end was incredible. They needed that.
Yeah, Ron Rivera was actually mentioning he was happy that Scott Turner stuck with his offense
Right.
and didn't waver despite
Yeah.
having their backs against the wall. He was happy that Jack Del Rio stuck
he
with
said
it on,
he liked
on defense.
what Jack was doing, yeah.
Because there are some people when their backs against the wall, they panic
And they changed things up. And he said,
Correct.
you know what, just stick with the game plan. Stick with the game plan. And they did.
It's something we don't usually see with this Commanders, Washington football team. Usually they kind of fold when they get in these certain situations. We've seen some games where they bounce back, but a lot of times that it's usually was the tale of two
Right,
halves that
right.
we used to always hear, where this team maybe didn't show up in the second half, or maybe they showed up. They started really well and they went MIA in the second half. Here's the fun part about this, and this is before we get to Suited or Booted, or first edition of Suited or Booted, because of course some of the
We love it. Gotta
Washington
show off that game day fit.
That game day fit that a lot of these Commander players are wearing. Stay tuned for that. This is the fun part where you, the fans, get to comment, and if you had any questions, we'll read them out. And we already have some people.
All right, let's see. Let's see what you guys
wanna
are saying on
You want to read the
Facebook.
first one, or you want? Because it's D Brown. It's your boy, D Brown.
Oh,
You
D.
remember
Brown Williams.
You remember D Brown? Remember
He
we saw him
says-
in aisle 5 at Giant? You don't remember that, D Brown?
Hi, D. Brown. You say, I'm a believer. I love it. Hashtag HTTR for life. I like it.
How about Frazier? Giovanni Frazier. I don't
Okay.
know why they skip over the first name, but Giovanni Frazier says, we got to come out strong and keep up all 4 quarters.
Yeah.
We always do good in 1 quarter, and then after that, it's like we get comfortable with the lead, and the coaches stop with the pressure on defense. Now, I will say this. This is what we were just mentioning before. So Giovanni Frazier makes actually a really good point, because yes, that's what used to happen. But like we mentioned before, when Ron Rivera was talking about Scott Turner and Jack Del Rio,
Right.
Whatever adjustments they made or whatever they stuck to helped them out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. When they were down in that slump and when they were really struggling, they came right back and they were able, as we saw, that 2-minute drill and finish the game strong, finish the game with a win. And going back to what Carson Wentz said, it's hard to win in this league. Doesn't matter what team you're playing. This is still the National Football League. These are the best players in the game, and they got to win. That's what they needed today.
All right, well, speaking of Carson Wentz, Cliff DC says, congratulations, but this was a game the team was favored to win. Wentz did everything he could to lose the game.
Ooh.
2 interceptions, and they were on him, throwing over the heads of players. The most inconsistent quarterback. I'll let you go.
All right, so I'm going to go with it's the first game. He came out strong, and he was hitting the wide receivers that he was starting to really connect with in practices and in training, and things were going well. And you know what? I will say this. The 1 interception was a really, really good play by the defense. So, he had 2 interceptions, but he also had 4 touchdowns.
Sure did. First time
4
since
touchdowns.
2017. The old Carson Wentz, the good Carson Wentz. I'm trying to work these 2 phones, and
We want that 2017 Carson Wentz.
I'm going to explain why I'm trying to work these 2 phones, because our last comment, Michael Wheeler says, Michael Wheeler Bay Senior says, "Can't wait till week 4."
Ooh,
So that's why I was just,
okay,
I was
wait,
just,
wait,
yeah, I was
wait.
just like, okay, I'm trying to remember who.
We
they,
know week 3 is
that the Eagles?
No, the week 3 is the Eagles.
So week 4 is. Oh, he must be a Cowboys fan. You know, listen. You know.
My eyepiece.
Yeah,
falling
you're
down.
fine. It's coming back. You know those Cowboy fans are always going to figure out some way to get in the show. Mm-hmm. So week 4 against the Cowboys. Now I guess on paper, the Cowboys are supposed to be really good, possibly winners of
Every
the
year
NFC East
on
and
paper,
stuff like
they're supposed
that.
to be really good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to week 3. I don't know. I know we skip ahead to week 4 here, but week 3, Eagles here.
Well,
Then we'll see what kind of team this team's
well,
made
I
of.
would say I'm looking forward to week 2 against Detroit.
Yeah.
We don't want to overlook, but
Yeah.
yes, I get you. Week 3 will be that Eagles game, which will be sort of like Carson Wentz going against his former team. So we get all
Yep,
that.
yep.
But those darn Cowboys, man, always figuring out a way to try to get in the show.
So many Cowboys fans out there.
But anyways, we're trying to figure out where we're going next. I'm literally
Okay, well, we're
working
going to go to
both-
one of our favorite segments. It's called Suited or Booted. If you
Ooh,
have
it is that
never
time?
tuned in.
It's that time? All right. No,
Yeah.
cool.
If you've never tuned in and watched this, so you guys might not realize, but when the players come, they don't come dressed in their uniforms, as you see out there. They usually don't come in, pajamas. They come in what we call game day fit. And the players have told us, Taylor Heineke told me last year, he puts a lot of thought into his game day fit. Because they know they're going to be photographed. They know people are looking. This is when people get to see them outside of football gear, outside of practice gear. And so they put some thought into it. Now today I'll say this was a casual game day fit. Right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the pictures of it. So the first one we're starting off with is Antonio Gibson. And Antonio Gibson,
Let's
why,
see,
what does he
here?
have 2 shoes for? Are those the cleats?
Maybe he's got special cleats that he's like bringing in.
Those, I think those do look like cleats. So maybe he's
Okay.
not bringing in 2 shoes.
I don't know. It's too casual. It's nothing special. Looks like something you'd wear to watch TV, play video games
Something
with
you wear
bros.
to like Home Depot to like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm not about it, Antonio. I've seen you do better. I know you like to rock the jewelry. He was telling me about. Now, does he have the bling? I can't really see if we zoom in.
let me zoom in.
He does.
Oh,
Okay, he has
have
the bling.
He
Okay,
can
okay.
confirm he does have the bling.
All right, so he brought the bling back from last year, so that's good. He's got the bling.
You going to suit it or boot it?
Don't hate me, Antonio, but I'm gonna say boot it. I need to see more pizzazz. Give me more. Give me more.
I'm going to go boot it as well. Even though I love the way that you played today. You didn't fumble the ball at all. I'm very proud of you, keeping it high and tight.
Yep.
Like a running back should do, because obviously Brian Robinson is out right now.
Yep.
For a few weeks or how long before he comes back.
So we like the way you played, but maybe dress it up a little bit. Dress it up for us next
Okay.
week.
So our next one is we had probably half the team
Yeah.
that was wearing black and white.
I don't know what's up with that.
You see
It
Curtis
wasn't planned.
Samuel. Who else was in there? Oh, Johan Dotson,
Right.
rocking the black and white, and then Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
So we have all 3 pictures together.
And everyone has black and white. I mean, it's chill. It's cool.
I think instead of maybe suited or booted, maybe it should be who's the winner out of all the 3, and we boot the 2 losers. So who?
Okay, let me see. Let me
so
see.
Who
Got
won?
pictures
So
up?
Logan Thomas,
Yep.
Johan Dotson,
Uh-huh.
and then you have Curtis Samuel.
And you know what? Is it weird? I liked the Johan Dotson black ripped jeans. I don't know why, but people can't pull it off, but he pulls it off.
So you're
I'm
booting.
saying he's the winner.
Oh, he's the winner. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna
Logan
say
Thomas
Johan's the winner.
and Curtis
Yeah,
Samuel
yeah.
you're booting. So I disagree with you, ma'am.
I don't know.
I think Johan Dotson definitely booted. Listen,
Okay.
I know you're a rookie, my man, but listen, if it was my very first NFL game, I'm coming
Yeah.
suited and booted with a hat to match.
Nice. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm booting that. I'm actually going to give the winner to Logan Thomas.
Maybe Logan. Okay.
Because look at the bag. The bag is the swag.
Oh yeah.
He has the man purse. with
He's
the-
got a Gucci purse.
Go ahead,
Gucci
tell-
man purse
Mhm.
and Louis Vuitton duffel. All right, mixing brands. All right. I didn't see that. Maybe okay.
So I'm saying.
Maybe I
good
go
for
with that.
But,
All right.
but I will say this though, the best black and white outfit today.
Oh.
Here's our third one for suited or booted. Check out Montez Sweat. Matter of fact, he was wearing that walking
Yeah.
in right where we
Yeah.
are right now.
I mean,
What do you-
he's got style there.
Stop. Listen.
It's interesting. It's his style. Stars, designs.
You know what brand that is? Can you tell?
I can't. I don't-
can't?
Let me see.
This is so hard to do.
I can't tell.
Trying to.
I don't know if
look
it
at the
is
pic-
I mean,
It,
I can't tell. I don't know.
Here, at the beginning of the video, just watch. It's like in slow-mo. Watch the way he like sips on his like coffee or tea or whatever the heck he's drinking.
Because, when you're going to play a big NFL game, you might as well get that latte first.
Like, what do you think he's drinking?
Looks like an iced caramel latte.
You
I don't know
think
why,
it's
but
Dunkin'
that's what I'm
Donuts?
going with.
It can't be Starbucks. That's not a
No, it's a Starbucks, I think.
What kind of cup is that? That's not a...
Like a little tall. He got a tall size.
That's a tall size?
He got a tall size.
What other sizes? You have
Tall, grande, and venti.
No, there's a bigger one than venti.
No,
Trenta. I had it. It's a Trenta.
Who
I had
knows?
it.
He's got way too much caffeine.
I don't get this caffeine stuff. I do. We were going off subject.
Anyway.
But anyway, so suited or booted for Montez Sweat?
Right. I like it. I like it because it's just
Can you
different.
see me wearing that?
Absolutely not. I can't see any human wearing that.
And that's why I say, you know what? Only a few people can really pull that off.
He can pull it off.
I'm gonna say booted, not because it's ugly, but just because I can't see myself wearing that.
I can't see you wearing half the stuff. I can't see you wearing those skinny jeans that were ripped that Johan wore
I can
either.
wear what Logan Thomas was wearing.
Okay, maybe.
I bring out the swag.
Okay.
Mix my bags up.
sweater.
My brands. But
I can't wait for next week. We need a week 2 game day fit. And for all the guys out there, I want to see the game stepped up just a little bit. A little fancier.
So,
T-shirts are fine, but a little fancier.
All right, well that's suited or booted. All right, so
Awesome.
So here's where we are right now. We saw some of the positives and the negatives and stuff like that
Right.
in the game, and then we also were talking about the outfits, what was good, what was bad. But before the game started, there was one thing that we saw on Twitter that was pretty bad, and I know the Washington Commanders are like, what is going on here? The last thing we want to see is
And on the same day that they unveiled their new team store with all their new Commanders merchandise, so much great stuff, and that's almost 7,000 square foot store.
Someone was selling mugs.
Yeah. There were coffee mugs being sold outside at, we're told, a truck of some sort. Now, we don't know if it's officially, with the team or anything like that.
I don't think they'll get that wrong.
So there was, a truck outside selling merchandise, and
it wasn't Washington,
on the
D.C.
truck were mugs that had the W. Yeah, they had the W on it over a state. Well, unfortunately, it was the state of Washington.
Yeah, Washington, D.C. is not a state yet. It's still a district of Columbia.
But it was the state of, Washington. Where
the one Seattle's in.
Yeah. So, but they were pulled after about 10 minutes. Someone made them aware of it, that those are incorrect. So let's just moving forward, better merchandise up in the store, which is great. I checked it out. It was fabulous.
Obviously, credit to Pete Haley who put that out there. So now we're at the end of this, and I know it's a new season. A lot of us are unfamiliar of like how we do things, especially at the end. But I'm going to ask the director. She's probably like, where is it? Where is it? If she actually there's like some Where's the Love music. It's very slow. You know, if she can play some Where's the Love music, if we actually have that Where's the Love music, because it's the end of the show. We thank you, all the fans, for tuning in. Big Commanders win. But when we play this music, we always have our final thought.
Right.
And the final thought I guess you can start the final thought and kind of share.
And a prediction. We got a final thought and a prediction.
You want to tell the people how you feel? Maybe the music, maybe the Where's the Love music will come in.
Okay, we'll see.
But
no pressure, because it is week 1. So we can always get the music for week 2.
Okay, let us know how you feel.
I like the way this started. I like the way
you got to be so mellow with it.
I like the way this team came out. I loved that we saw Carson Wentz use the big 3. We saw him use Johan. We saw him use Terry. We saw him use Curtis. That was fun to watch. It got the crowd here on their feet. That was a good time. We saw Antonio Gibson not fumble the ball, have some nice runs. So we saw a lot of positive things from the offense. We also saw them fall back into their old ways of, giving the fans the ultimate sigh midway through the game of, oh, we started well, are we going to finish well? They did finish well. And I think that's so important. And because of that, I think they're on a high right now. I think they know what they're capable of. I think they're going to fix the mistakes. I think Carson's going to fix those 2 interceptions. Again, he did throw 4 touchdowns. And I think they're going to beat Detroit next week. I'm predicting 31-21.
Okay, all right. I don't know if the music's playing. I don't think the music's playing. I don't hear it. All right, so my final thought is this. Gosh, I want to go the opposite of what you were talking about, because you said everything that I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. Well, you can just say ditto, and then we'll be like, all right, thanks for watching.
No, this is my moment.
Satch likes that.
So I will say this. I need more from the Washington Commanders during week 2. They're going to take on this Detroit team that just lost to the Eagles. Eagles is kind of
they're hungry. They want their first
they
win.
want their first win. They're on the hard knocks and all that type of stuff. They're getting all the fame, the love, the ratings. I don't know if they get. I don't know if the players care about that, but what I'm thinking is the Commanders should look at this game and see that the fact that they challenged the Eagles, a team that made the postseason last year, and they should put that up on a bulletin board and say, look, this Detroit team, yes, they were one of the worst teams last year, but they need to make sure that they play them like a team that could be playoff worthy because they barely lost to the Philadelphia Eagles today. And I love the fact, like you were mentioning, all the three receivers. Oh, wait, I hear the music. Did you hear that?
I heard something.
All right, let me start it again.
Oh, you don't have to start it again. Just keep going.
Theological thinking is upon my mind. Mind starts to intertwine when I'm thinking about the Washington Commanders.
Oh, Satch is telling us we got to
someone's
wrap.
actually holding it. Okay, I guess we got to wrap up. So I guess that's the.
Yeah, that's the wrap.
I guess I got nobody wanted to hear my poetry jam. That was it's right on cue. But anyways,
Good week one.
Good week one. I guess my quick prediction will be is
Yeah.
I do see the Commanders winning. I'm gonna go 21-10.
Okay.
21-10.
There we go.
For all the Commander fans out there, we appreciate you. Another big win, or should I say a big win, the first one for the Washington Commanders, 28-22 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're 1-0, now going on the road to Detroit to take on the Lions.
All right.
Sharla
good
McBride,
stuff.
I'm Darren Haynes.